And no doubt they'll join us as the minutes and indeed the morning go by. But really good to see you all this morning and welcome to our annual conference. We've got as good a guest speaker lineup as we've had for any conference, and we've always had strong lineups, but it's a very, very good one over the next 2 days, and I know many of you will be with us for both days. Gives us a real chance, I think, to look into the future and what the next few years are going to bring. We've got speakers not only from the government but also from the opposition as well, and I think that's rather pertinent. We hedge our bets, so to speak, as there's going to be an election certainly within the year, and we'll be referring to that several times as we go through the conference and some of the links we're having with the Conservative front bench. It will give us a chance as well, apart from looking at the issues of the next year or two, also to focus a bit on the issues of the day, of which there are several, and they're pretty hot issues, 16 to 18, which I believe is probably an all but resolved good news story, and we'll mention that later on, and Train to Gain in adult apprenticeships, which is yet to be resolved, but hopefully an ultimately good news story with some real pain out there, and I'm sure some of you will be raising some of your experiences during the question and answer sessions and hopefully directing them at some of our speakers over the next 2 days. But that will be, I'm absolutely sure, a theme of the next 2 days, the very, very real problems and pain that's being suffered by providers across the country at the moment. So I'll not go into that at this stage, but I'm sure that will dominate an awful lot of our discussion and thinking. One other major issue is the up-and-coming machinery of government changes. And I would just encourage those of you that are staying through for the whole of the conference to do just that. There's always a drift on the last afternoon as people start understandably looking at the journey home. It hasn't been done deliberately, though with hindsight perhaps we should have done it deliberately. But the final speaker, John Freeman, is from the Local Government Association. We have very close relationships and very sound, solid relationships with John and the LGA as we're starting to get our mind around the relationships all of you and ALP has to form with local authorities as we go into a new funding era over the next 2 years. So I would really encourage all of you that are staying through to tomorrow to hang on for that final session, which is one of the big key issues of the day, our relationships with the local authorities, especially under the new funding regime. Also, a new element for our conference, which I think came from the feedback that you left with us previously, is after the conference formally finishes this afternoon, there will be 3 fringe meetings that are open to all delegates to go to. So their details are on your programme. We haven't done this before. It may or may not be a success. I certainly hope it will be. 3 very different fringe meetings. One of them very specific, in terms of an outline on the prospectus for ATA, GTA prospectus. If you don't know what that means, you probably don't need to go to that one. If you do know what it means, you probably want to be there. And there is some money on offer, not at the conference, but there is a prospectus there, which some of you I know will be very actively interested in. So 3 fringe meetings over the tea time period this afternoon. Please have a look to see if any of those interest you. And also those of you who will be staying on for tomorrow morning, the programme starts, as with today, at 10 o'clock. Can I please suggest that we get in here for 9:50? The reason is our first speaker, one of the most critical ones for us, is Sean Simon from DS. And Sean has to get away by 10:25. He's prepared to have he's on a shorter presentation than usual and will take questions. Now, Sean is absolutely critical to what we're about and the problems we're currently facing. I was with him yesterday. He has to be away on the dot. So what I don't want to be doing is having 5 minutes of me just introducing things from 10 to 5 past, when we rather have him up here giving us an extra 5 minutes for questions and queries at the end. So could I just ask you, please, could we try to make a 10 to 10 start in here, in our seats, so I can kick the day off then, and try to get Sean on, spot on 10 o'clock, and run it as a 25-minute session, not a 20-minute. It sounds very, very small, but it's such a critical speaker I really want to use every minute available and give you every opportunity to fire some questions at him and make him fully aware of the issues that you are facing today. So 9:50, if you possibly can make it tomorrow morning. Now that's enough from me. We come to our first speaker, who of course is well known to all of you, the ALP chairman.